Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one we're going to be going over a bunch of the craziest tips and tricks that you guys probably don't know. That's right guys, I compiled a ton of the craziest tricks and tips, some of the most unique tips ever that not even a ton of pro players know. Like a few of them may use them, but a ton of them I've never seen use a bunch of these tricks, and like this one I'm going to show you is just crazy. Something most people would have never thought of. So yeah guys, it's going to be a super fun video. You're going to learn a ton of stuff, and I definitely recommend checking all of these out to try and improve your game a bit. But yeah guys, if you enjoyed today's video or find it helpful, be sure to hit that like button down below. Always helps me out a ton and encourages me to make more of these. And on top of that, comment about how many wins you have. I'm curious to see how good you guys are or how long you've been playing, so leave that down below. But yeah guys, without further ado, let's jump on into it here with the first tip or trick I want to show you guys. This one is an awesome way of peeking an enemy that really only shows like a tiny bit of your head. And it's not the one I showed in the thumbnail. That one's coming up soon, but this one is still super useful, and it's one I found out about recently that definitely can help you, especially when you're trying to get like a sniper shot on somebody in a 1x1. So yeah, let's hop into game here so I can show you a great example. But basically, yeah, say your enemy is in a 1x1. They don't have to be in a 1x1, but generally this works if they're a little bit higher up than you. So if they're on like a hill over there, this could help. Or if you're just like trying to snipe towards people. But yeah, say they're in a 1x1, so just build a quick one like right here. Doesn't really matter. And then you're gonna be rushing from over here. So yeah, the usual thing would to just be build some ramps up and then aim over here, but that's not really the best. They're going to be expecting that. Really any player is expecting you to just peek right over the top. So the better way of doing it to throw them off a little bit is to build a ramp right here, then build two up there, which I know seems really weird, and then you want to build a ramp right down here a little bit further forward than the ones you built over here. Now what that gives you is this really cool peeking area that lets you land some shots on them, and they're going to be expecting you to be up here. And like this is what it looks like for them. So they're going to be expecting you to come up here. So they might not even really be looking down in that area. They might be like back here a little bit, probably a little bit higher, but they're going to be aiming right there. Their gun's even going to like cover you up a little bit from being down there. So it's definitely a cool way to peek, definitely pretty useful. Oh my gosh, guys, look at how many llamas there are right in this section. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fifth one right over here. And I know it's playgrounds, but still, that's insane. But yeah, what we're trying to do with these llamas right here, we're trying to get some bouncers and some launch pads. And no guys, we're not doing the basic like super bouncer launch pad thing, which I showed in a previous video. We're going to be showing you guys actually like the improved version of that. So let's open up one little pinata llama right here. Come on, loot llama. And there we go. We've got 5 launch pads. So yeah, as you guys know, the normal launch pad isn't too bad, but it doesn't launch you like insanely high. It launches you about up to there, a little bit higher than that like power tower, whatever you call it. Now the previous way that a lot of people sort of do it to sort of get you even higher is to use a bouncer pad, but they set it up like this, and this is how I showed you in the previous video, and it's still a good way of doing it. It's probably the most consistent because you hit the top. Okay, it's generally really consistent. There we go. But you hit the top of that little wall and then it sends you up super high, probably twice as high. However, that's not super fast to set up, and it uses extra materials. So the better way of doing it, and it does require a little bit of practice. So let's make a platform right here and put our launch pad down there. But yeah, the better way to do it is to simply put a wall right back here and then to put a bouncer on that wall. So already you're saving some materials. But like, yeah, generally line yourself up right here and then aim for like right on that arrow, and it'll do the same exact thing as that one, but is a lot quicker and a lot simpler. So again, you just kind of want to start out at like 45 degrees, walk into it, and there you go. You get launched up even higher. But yeah, it does take a little bit of practice to get it down because sometimes you'll actually miss it if you don't go in at the right angle. So yeah, maybe be careful if you're like super high up. You might miss your launch pad, but if you're in a rush, this definitely can be quite helpful. Keeping it going here with another one though. This one is super useful for when you need to heal in the middle of a build fight and you're like either turtling inside of the built structure that was magically created during that build fight. But specifically, this helps to protect yourself because when you get into those situations and the other person finds you and they're like trying to fire and knock down your walls to try and get inside, a lot of the times people don't set that up as well as they could. So like, for example, what people usually do, and this is just showing like the box itself that you may be in, but usually they do this, they cover themselves in, and then they maybe put some stairs to block from the front. But then when they're healing, that leaves this side, and this side with only one form form of defense, which somebody can really quickly shoot through, and then you'll be exposed unless you keep putting up that wall. So the better way to do it, to give yourself some more options, is to still do that one by one, but instead of using a stair piece, you want to use a pyramid piece, and you can edit it in a couple of ways. But like if you edit the two corners like this, that makes it so the person has to go through either this wall or this wall to get to you directly. If they start firing through the other walls, you can just replace them and also replace the pyramid piece to keep them at bay, and you'll pretty much never get those weird little random shots that sneak through when you're placing a wall. On top of that, you can also edit it, if it'll let me edit it, there you go. You can also edit it to do this version, which gives you a little bit more space to move around, but does require a little tiny bit more editing to actually do it. But yeah, definitely way better than doing the ramp so that you have 3 open areas. So definitely, I do recommend trying that out. It can be super helpful in those build fights. But getting into it here with the next tip, this one is pretty simple, but has saved me a couple of times, and I'm sorry I don't have like an in-game clip of it, but it's still something that I think a lot of you guys should, you know, just have in your back pocket, because it can save you like from actually getting eliminated like super quick. So what exactly am I talking about here? This one has to do with grenades and not taking damage from them. Generally a good idea, right? Well, yeah, but it's pretty tough when a grenade's coming at you, especially if you're like inside. Sometimes it can be difficult to, you know, build some walls and cover yourself up like that. However, there's actually a really good tip to not take damage, and it only requires one thing. So basically what I'm talking about here is using a pyramid piece. Now, how exactly could this be useful? Well, it sort of acts like cover for the grenade itself. So for example, let's try and do this right here. Somebody's throwing a grenade at you. I'll imitate that by throwing a grenade right here. We cover it up, and you can like stand on top of it and it won't do any damage to you. So it does require a little bit of quick thinking, but if you practice this a couple of times, you can just go into playgrounds and practice it like I'm doing right now. But again, you just toss the grenade, cover it up, and you're safe. Make sure to actually jump out of it though. You don't want to be on the inside. And also make sure that it doesn't, you know, go in between the two tiles. That doesn't happen a ton, but if it happens perfectly, that can, you know, mess it up a little bit. But moving on here to this next one. This one was actually the inspiration for this video just because it's such a crazy, cool new thing that was found in the game recently. A cool little trick or tip or whatever you want to call it. And it seriously is like really amazing. And unfortunately, I'm not sure like the original person who found it, because like one person made a post that said a streamer found it, then the streamer said they found it from somebody else. So I'm really not sure who's the original person, but either way, it's still an amazing trick and you guys really need to see it. So let's hop into game right here. And as you can see, we got our little area to go in, but basically how this trick works, you can do it in a couple different ways, but you just need some materials and like a sniper. Generally, that's the best way to do it. So I'm just going to do it in the simple way of doing like, let's say, a 3x3. That's the typical way of building something like this. So generally you would like snipe from above here if somebody was like over by that car. But the better way of doing it is dropping down a floor and then editing this one. You want to make it curve around so you get the one that, you know, goes up and then back. That's super important to this, because then with the second step, you're going to edit this wall right here through the stairs, but you remove the bottom 3 in the corner so that you can make this angled piece right here. Now what that allows you to do, and actually I kind of made it on the wrong side, but that's all right, but it gives you this little space that allows you to actually snipe through. That's right, guys. As you can see, there's just enough space between the angle of this wall and this little wall of the stair right here that gives you this super safe spot to snipe through, and nobody's really going to be expecting you to snipe through here. So again, if you want to go through the other side, you just edit it, remove the bottom corner, and then if you're going for that guy behind the car, you just snipe him, and he's never going to see it coming. So let's real quick go over there and see what it looks like from his perspective. So he's behind this car, and he might not have a sniper, so he's just like looking along, but you're only going to show up in that little tiny spot, and that's all he has to hit as well. And I mean, you too, that's all you have to shoot through, but if he's aiming for that, it's going to be pretty tough to actually land a shot on you. And like, yeah, the only real weakness is that you expose your stairs right here, but you don't really want to make that wall out of metal, because for whatever reason, when you do this trick with metal, the space in between it shows up like a lot larger, but like as you can see, there's actually a space that you can't shoot through. You have to aim like way up here, so it's a little bit confusing, and you're also way more exposed. And also brick is a little bit, it's not as good as wood, so definitely do it with wood. It's by far the best one, but that is a crazy trick that definitely can be useful in some situations where you're like in a sniper battle. But moving on again, here we have a quick little trick that I'm not going to spend too much time on because it is very simple, but still super useful in case you don't know how to do it yet. So this has to do with when you have a Riff To Go go and you're gonna use it, but you want to carry something else with you. So this happens a lot in like 50v50 for me. So like if we go into game here, as you can see, maybe I want to take this tactical shotgun with me. Probably not, but you know, might as well take another item with you. So basically what you want to do is as soon as you click to use the Riff To Go, simply press X or whatever button you use to swap weapons or pick up weapons. That's more what I should be saying. And when you do that, it'll switch out the Riff To Go, but not quick enough to actually cancel the Riff To Go animation, but it'll still pick up the gun for you. So it's just a super useful thing. You might as well do it because you can pick up another item when generally most people just use their Riff To Go and have an empty slot for a while. So it's a really good trick to have in your back pocket. But after that, then we have one that has to do with Loot Lake. I know we've kind of shown a couple of tips to cross Loot Lake. Like we did that one where you can cross it diagonally, and that's a really good tip, but it's not as good as this one for sure. At least if you're not having to cross it diagonally. But yeah, Loot Lake is definitely one of those tough things. If the circle's ending there and you need to sort of get across it, like the storm's coming in, or you're already in the storm and you need to go super fast, but people might be firing at you from one direction. It happens a lot actually, and it's a tough situation to be in. So what's the better way of getting across Loot Lake? So like as you can see right here, let's try and save that llama in the water right there. That's what we want to do. He can't swim, all right? He's in the shallow end, but he doesn't like it. So we need to save him. The general way that most people would do is to like go this way, but that leaves you open from a lot of different directions. So like if you start getting shot at, a lot of people will do this, which isn't very efficient, and it also wastes a ton of materials. So there's got to be a better way to do that, right? Of course there is, and that is with the ramp, but you want to rotate it just like that. So if we put the ramp down, jump onto it, and then run across, we are fully covered from that area over there. Again, if somebody's firing from the other side, you just switch it over and keep on going, and you can save your little llama buddy right there. Boom. Saved. But yeah, guys, definitely a super useful tip that you might as well keep in your back pocket. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, learned something new, and if you did, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this coming out in the near future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, the Week 10 Challenges Guide, and then on the right, going through all of the details we know so far on this Season 6 Battle Pass. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.